And we're back with Governor Andrew Cuomo of New York. Governor, I'm sorry about that. You know that the break rolls, and I didn't want the break to roll and interrupt you, so I had to stop you there. You were saying that you have lowered the increase of spending. We're trying to understand what can be done so that it is, in fact, not a tax increase for New Yorkers, which you're right, by eliminating the deduction, it is.
The only way not to increase taxes in New York is to stop the plan. The plan is diabolical and divisive. There are 12 states in this country that pay state and local taxes at the highest amount. They all happen to be blue states. I'm sure it was a coincidence. Trump lost all of those states. They have minority Republicans. But it is a tax increase for those states. That's why New York, we have 9 Republican congresspeople. 7 of the 9 are against it. Peter King, God bless him, stood up and told the truth. You're raising taxes on New Yorkers.
Right.
And I do believe there's a political dimension to this. It's the exact opposite of what they promised. You raise taxes in New York. You put us at a structural disadvantage. And I thought the Republican Party was all about lowering taxes.
Well,
you now have a Republican Party that says we're going to tax the taxes you pay. It's double taxation.
Would you
this from the party that says I'm going to give you a tax reduction?
Would you be comfortable with putting a cap, whereas some people who make over $400,000 will not be able to use the deduction, but those who make under that level will be able to use the deduction?
No, it's baloney, Maria. That's what you're saying is I'm going to tax the rich in New York more. The Republican theory, which ironically has opposed the millionaire's tax in New York State for 7 years, but the Republican theory says, well, then those rich people will move to a state with lower taxes.
Well, you have seen a lot of people move out of New York. I mean, just to be fair, businesses have left New York, and individuals have left New York because they feel that it's too high taxes.
Yes, but Maria, this would then accelerate that. And when they leave, that tax burden falls down to the middle class and the working families. So they would be raising taxes on middle-class New Yorkers who are the exact people the president said he was going to help. It is a fraud.
So you don't think this is going to move you?
Congressman to
this is not going to move you to lower taxes and lower spending. I know you said you lowered the rate of spending, but this is not going to move you to make any changes. Because Steven Mnuchin last week said to me, look, we need to get the federal government out of subsidizing these states. I recognize that it's New York and New Jersey who are subsidizing because you're paying more into the government. But he said the federal government is subsidizing New York and New Jersey.
Who's he? I'm
sorry?
Treasury
Secretary Steven Mnuchin.
Who said that?
Steven Mnuchin, Treasury Secretary.
Yeah, well, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin, who is a nice New York fellow, should actually look at the numbers before he speaks. New York is the #1 donor state to the federal government. We send $48 billion to Washington that we never get back.
Right.
I'll make a deal with the Treasury Secretary. Just give us our New York money back, okay? And we'll call it even. We subsidize every other state in the state of New York, every other state in the United States. New York is the #1 subsidizer. For them to say, why should they subsidize New York, that is an untruth. It is either an ignorant statement or a deceptive statement. This would take the #1 donor state, put it at a structural disadvantage, chase the rich from the state, push that burden down to the middle class. And I know it's a blue state, and I know California's a blue state, but that's not how you're supposed to govern.
You sound off.
And if you hurt New York and you hurt California, you hurt the economic engines of this nation.
Are you saying a 20% corporate rate down from 35% is not going to move the needle on economic growth in this country?
You cut corporate tax. First of all, this was supposed to be a middle-class tax cut. Or I heard a different presidential campaign than you did.
Okay.
Second, the magic Republican wand is we are going to reduce the corporate rate, and then that will stimulate economic activity, and that economic activity will trickle down to the middle class and the working families. Oh, trickle down. What a new idea. Trickle down on steroids. You have a premise that some will suggest that cutting the corporate tax rate will stimulate the economy. And you have divided opinion on that, as you know. But for sure, what this plan will do is raise taxes on the middle class in those states that pay state and local tax deduction. And to tell a Republican congressperson, you should vote for a plan that hurts your constituents.
Right.
That's what they're doing.
Governor,
this plan will hurt their constituents.
You sound awfully like a guy who's about to put his hat in the ring to run for president. Are you expecting to face off against Donald Trump in 2020?
I'm not even wearing a hat, Maria.
What does that mean? So you
How
are.
can I put my hat in the ring?
I get it.
I'm running for governor of the state of New York next year. And I hope all New Yorkers, including your viewers, vote for me.
Governor, thanks for joining us this morning. We appreciate it. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for having me.
Governor Andrew Cuomo there.